They didn't think we'd make it this far. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of the Stache Club Wrestling Podcast. I am your co-host, John.
And I'm your other co-host, Dante.
I think that's how people say it. I'm your co-host. Here's my other co-host.
Yeah,
people say it.
Yeah, that's what we are. We're co-hosts.
Crazy. I mean, first of all, let's just talk about the past week.
Woo! Yeah, so if today's Wednesday, so it hasn't been a full week yet, but almost a full week of Stache Club Wrestling being alive.
Yeah.
Really. And we're almost at 6,000 subscribers already.
Nuts.
We're not counting TikTok. We're not counting.
I mean, TikTok itself, we started the TikTok, and the TikTok is mainly just to help the YouTube channel.
Sure.
The TikTok's
100%.
not a whole lot of. I'm sure we'll do an original video here and there, but that got 10,000. I want to say first day.
Yeah, it's almost at 15,000 now.
Jeez. And then yeah, we're closing in on 6,000 subscribers. It's the reception and the response has been nuts.
Yeah, it's not even just like the view count or anything like that. It's just seeing the comments, seeing people, finding us again, people saying how much they've missed us, and how much it puts a smile on their face. Like it's very crazy to me and surreal, and I'm sure you think the same way. Just to think of how much how this affects people, and how much people actually enjoy watching our content, and knowing that we're back and able to do this. And you guys very clearly told us how much you missed us, and we missed you just as much, believe me.
I mean, a lot of the comments that got me were people being like, I always used to watch you guys on my lunch break, or I used to watch you with my family. Me and my fiance used to watch you.
Or you had a bad day or something.
Yeah, there was a lot of comments.
Smile on my face.
There's a lot of comments that were just like, I looked forward to it, and I was so crushed when it ended, and I'm so happy you guys are back. And those numbers aside, we can talk numbers all day.
Right.
Those are the comments that are the craziest, and it's on the pod. Because when we were over at whatever that the other brand was, I forget what it was called. Wait, I'm joking, but
I was thinking, I was like, wait, what?
But back when we were doing the pod before, at least to me, it did fine numbers, but it didn't seem like people were as invested in it as the quiz videos or whatever.
Sure.
So seeing how dedicated people were to the podcast,
they found
it again. And seeing oh wow, we had a dedicated.
That's what I'm saying, because that was the thing. It's the community feel. We're getting all you guys back. Being able to interact with you guys. You guys interact with each other in the comments, playing the quizzes, the premiere and stuff like that. We had a few hundred people in the premiere for the Roman Reigns quiz, which is pretty cool. But yeah, no, we're thrilled to be back, to be doing this for you guys. And again, we thank you for the support along the way. We're not going anywhere this time around, so don't worry about that. And we're just very excited to be back, giving you amazing wrestling content. Just two bros talking wrestling.
Talking wrestling. Speaking of talking wrestling, what do you say we talk some wrestling?
This is a wrestling podcast, so I think we should do that.
We are coming off AEW Full Gear. Overall, how'd you feel?
I'm so upset I didn't get to watch it live.
Oh,
I had a date night. I tried making it back. Believe me, I tried everything I could.
Babe,
I said, wrestling at my place tonight.
Moxley versus MJF is on at 11.
I was looking at the clock, looking at my watch, looking at her the whole time.
You're at the bar. You're you think they could turn on?
Yeah, they had the Bruins game on. Hey, AEW's on, No, but I did get to watch the replay, so I did watch Full Gear. Overall, I thought it was a pretty solid show. There were definitely a few matches I didn't really care for as much as others. The whole Jeff Jarrett. The Darby Allin Sting is cool, but Jeff Jarrett, I don't understand why he's wrestling. I thought he was the guy that was supposed to be booking house shows, but whatever. Saraya, Britt Baker. Well, I'm just kind of giving a little rundown.
No, please.
Right? I'm just kind of going off the top of my mind right now.
I'm bring up the thing here.
I think Britt Baker definitely did carry most of that match, but I give benefit of the doubt. It's Saraya's first match in years. She's not going to be taking over that match. She's not going to be taking the reins. She took bumps. She looked really good. I'm very impressed from what I saw from her, and I hope again nothing but the best for her. I have a little bit. I agree with you on the Saraya thing. I have a little bit of a devil's advocate thing, and I know everyone hates the devil's advocate guy. I hate the devil's advocate guy, but for the sake of it, that is the biggest thing people are saying. It's cut her some slack. It's her first match back. It's her first match back, absolutely in front of a crowd, and I'm sure that's terrifying. And I'm sure whatever. Yeah, but she's been training.
She's been training for it. You know what I mean?
That, yeah.
Which, like I said, I don't necessarily believe that. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate with it. So I think being in the environment is
it's
a whole different thing than
Right.
practicing 100%.
100%.
But I would have liked to see a little bit more. I don't know. I was kind of disappointed in the match.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
again,
I said, it's probably on my lower half of like best matches of the night. But again, like I think first match back, she's gonna get better and better as time goes on. So, the Jungle Boy Luchasaurus match, I really enjoyed. I thought,
me too.
I thought Jack Perry, excuse me, I thought he looked very well. I will say, like it's not that it's not believable that Jack Perry won. I was just like I really thought Luchasaurus was gonna win. I just think bigger guys, steel cage, just like that's the type of environment. Like I thought Perry would kind of be at a disadvantage, but it was a surprise for me.
Yeah, I'm glad that's the story that was told, where like Jack Perry paid his dues. Crimson Mask.
And the funny thing is I picked him to win.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't like, that was just one of my, like, I like him more. So I picked him type of thing. The bleeding and everything. Mm-hmm. I think it's a good step forward for his character. I just didn't think I wasn't expecting it.
Honestly, Sting and Darby, besides the Jeff Jarrett stuff, I liked Sting and Darby.
It wasn't bad.
Sting and Darby was
wasn't bad. They've been together almost 2 years.
That's
Sting
crazy.
And Darby Allin.
They might need to break.
That's why I think it's just getting a little too like.
Yeah,
it's just the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I think they need either a new direction or the split up or something needs to happen there. I just think it's the same shit, just a different tag team every pay-per-view type of thing.
I don't know if you watched it, the Eddie Kingston match.
I didn't, but I heard it was really
fucking
good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Really just like emotional, and I didn't know.
They have a history between the two, right?
Yeah, like I didn't know much of that, but I guess they had a big history, and it was almost like a finally I get to fight my hero
Full
type of thing.
circle
Yeah.
moment, yeah.
And the ending of it, we're just like very emotional. Eddie kind of bowed to him. They hugged.
Eddie won?
Eddie won. Eddie cut a little bit of a promo at the end, and they were telling him like, "We're starting. You gotta get off." I thought that was really, really good. Jade Cargill and Nyla Rose. It just made. I mean, the result made sense. I don't have too much to say
I don't
about
have
that.
anything to say. And then do you see the thing with Bow Wow? Her and Bow Wow.
Oh yeah,
it's all.
They've
been doing like
that.
back and forth on Twitter, and then they had
I don't
like
get it.
I think it's because TMZ tweeted it, and everyone was just like, "Oh, it's real," and all of a sudden AEW tweeted it, and they were like, "Okay, yeah, this is definitely storyline."
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's you're trying to bring a celebrity into the mix because Jade Cargill kind of has that celebrity feel to her. I feel like she's just more like pop culture relevant. Like if you like a casual wrestling fan might know who she is just because she seems like larger than life. Like just she has that.
I think she's been on some of the late night shows.
Sure, yeah. She's more well known to the common wrestling viewer. But Bow Wow is not relevant. So I mean, listen, no disrespect to Bow Wow. I know he's a wrestling fan and shit like that, so I'm sure that's where this kind of started. But yeah, I don't care.
And then what are they gonna? They're gonna.
What are they gonna do? A match?
That's what I'm saying.
What, is she gonna fight Bow Wow? Is that? I don't know what it's leading to.
I don't know. And I don't even. I don't know.
So good. Whatever.
If it was West Side Gun, I might have cared more.
Sure.
He was. Was it him or Conway? The Machine that was like front row the whole night.
I think West Side's usually the one that's.
Is it West Side?
Front row. Tonight at Full Gear.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, moving on.
Wardlow, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, great match.
Yeah, just
Samoa
some
Joe
big
won.
Boys.
I thought,
boys.
Even though Samoa Joe won, I thought Wardlow was unbelievably impressive. Oh my god,
he looked good. I think he's too good to be in that type of picture. I think he's a main event guy.
Yeah, me too.
I think he needs a little bit more work. I think he needs a few more like big feuds, like not like for the championship, but just like with bigger names to get him to that level. But he's right there, dude. He's got everything.
I think this match is probably one of his most important matches because this showed he was like not leagues, but he was, in my opinion, by far the most. He was the most impressive.
Yeah, for sure. You know how old Wardlow is?
Hey,
I already know the answer, but let's play our favorite game of how old is Wardlow. He is 34. He's not young. I mean, he's not old, but he's not young. He looks great for 34.
I don't know what I expect. Orange Cassidy is 38.
Oh, wow.
I thought he was like...
That's an old boy.
Wow.
That's
I don't know
not
what
old,
I thought.
But, older. But yeah, no. Wardlow looked great. I hope that they kind of take him off. I'm sure there's going to be a blow up, like a match afterwards and stuff like that, him and Samoa Joe. But I hope that they can kind of take him away from the mid title scene, mid card scene, and kind of elevate him to the main. Because that's the point. When he fought MJF, the whole idea was for him to be like elevated to the next level.
He's been so stop and go, and not his fault.
I think the TNT belt does that. Honestly, I feel like if you win that, you're kind of stuck in purgatory for a little bit.
Yeah,
like you have a belt, but it's like
I want it to be I want it to be like the Intercontinental title or the U.S. title, but it just isn't.
First of all, if you have 2 championships named after TV networks,
I hate that. I don't like it. Yeah.
First of all, you call it the TNT Championship, then you switch to TBS.
The TNT.
So the TNT Championship is technically for Friday nights because that's what it was meant to be for Wednesdays. It got switched to Fridays, and the TBS got made because they started going to Wednesdays.
The TNT one, I don't mind. TBS sounds is fine.
Too much.
TNT has a long history with wrestling, so it makes sense. I'm not sure. Maybe TBS does too, but the TBS championship is stupid.
And you know what? Let me be a devil's advocate here.
Go ahead, pop off.
People shit on WWE for their non-creative title designs, which I agree with. I mean, the WWE belt and Universal belt are the same thing, different colors. But AEW ain't that much more creative for coming up with TNT and TBS championship.
The main title looks beautiful.
Amazing.
Other than that,
and then too,
the tag and the trios
you just have
cool
belts flying around like the FTW belt. Hook is the champ. When was the last time you've seen a title defense there, or even seen the belt? The championship TNT belt looks cool. TBS belt looks stupid in my opinion. Tag team belts are okay. You have the European championship that they actually just started like defending. They're like for a while they weren't even mentioning it.
What is that called?
All European.
Something like that.
The whole point of it was you were only supposed to defend it overseas, but then they weren't defending it. Yeah, and it's not on TV, so no one knows.
And now, Orange Cassidy is going to defend it against JK.
Exactly. So, like, again, like you can shit on WWE for not being creative in some senses, but it goes both ways. It's on both sides. But okay,
we got the Ring of Honor. I mean, I don't know if you want to go through every match. We got the Ring of Honor 4-way. Claudio, Bryan Danielson, Sammy Guevara.
I think it was good storytelling. I think Sammy and Chris Jericho is definitely going to be. I think there's definitely going to be a blow up there. Bryan Danielson, I was hoping he's going to win. Obviously not. And I mean Chris Jericho is a fine champ. I mean he's a big name, makes the belt relevant.
I have nothing.
Do you see Bryan Danielson talked about how after this contract he's done being full time?
I did see something like that.
I mean, I don't know when his contract's up. I think
it makes sense.
The dude's almost
like the injuries he's had.
He's older and so. You know what? Fuck it. Let's play our next favorite game. How old is Bryan Danielson? I'm gonna say early 40s, 41.
41.
Turns May 22nd. Gemini. But he's getting older. I mean, we know his history, his injury history and stuff. It probably would be smart for him to, kind of die down on the schedule a little bit. But I mean, I hope that we get to see at least like one world title run, like AEW world title run out of him.
Yeah.
I know, same. I think he has a few years left. God, like he stays healthy. Right. But man, I think if he retired or left AEW without being their champ, because I feel like that would be a failure. Like he's one of the biggest names in wrestler.
I am surprised he didn't win this.
I'm shocked he hasn't been he hasn't been a champ. Period. Yet.
Ring of Honor World Champion makes too much sense for him.
That's what I'm like. ROH guy.
I like Chris Jericho. He's a big name. I think he's a great champion. It would have made a lot of sense.
It would have made sense
unless they don't have a whole lot of plans for it, and they're just like, we'll keep it on Jericho, and he can kind of let it ride.
And it's just like I said it during the predictions, but Jericho, Danielson's one of those guys that you put a belt on him and he elevates it.
Yeah,
banger after banger after. He'll make the belt feel like something. And I'm just hoping that we see that at some point. He's not retiring anytime soon, but like hopefully that does happen.
AEW World Tag Team Championship match: The Acclaimed versus Swerve and Our Glory.
I think
good match.
Good match. We were pretty correct when we thought that this was going to be the one that they split. Swerve and Keith Lee.
Oh yeah, because they did, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I was saying, like, we kind of thought that was going to happen. Yep. So I mean,
fun storytelling. Keith Lee walked out on him, left him out to dry. I think Swerve is a great heel. He just kind of has that, like, someone already mentioned it, but he looks like Randall from Monsters Inc. He just kind of has that natural, like, slithery.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's a little snake. Yeah, he plays a great heel.
Cool. I think the right team won. I'm curious. Did they do anything? Is the Acclaim set up to face someone new now?
I think FTR is the next.
That would make sense. I guess.
That's
I don't know.
I don't know who else they'd face.
FTR always kind of gets shoved down, so who knows who it.
They have 3 belts. They each have 3 belts right now, and I feel like I haven't heard anything about them or the belts. ROH.
Yeah, and they've even like. It's like maybe a month ago at this point, but they were wrestling not a house show, but just like a smaller promotion. Maybe they won a belt, who knows? But they said something just like, "Hey, Tony, we're ready to work. Book us."
Yeah, I remember that.
Book us.
I think one of them has been hurt a little bit, so maybe that plays a part in it. But yeah, it's like if they're both healthy, you have the best tag team arguably in the world, and you're not doing anything with them. That's a waste.
Now,
let's talk about the other.
Here's a match that I have a lot to say on. The All Elite Wrestling Trios Championship match. They're returning the Elite versus Death Triangle. Cero. Crazy. So sick.
I loved that.
So sick.
I loved that. I want you to pop off though. I know this is your match.
I've been talking about it on Twitter for a little bit, going back and forth defending it. The Elite and Death Triangle, I don't know where this is coming from. The Elite and Death Triangle are getting so much shit for just having like a dance off and choreography. And the specific clip in mind is they do that, and they've done it before, and it's never been a problem.
No.
Ray Phoenix kicks, I can't tell the difference between Nick and Matt Jackson.
One of the Bucks.
Ray Phoenix kicks a Buck, they go down. Penta and another Buck kick each other the same way, they go down. They get up, 4-way super kick. Down, they all springboard up, crowd goes crazy, they love it. Now all of a sudden, wrestling Twitter is like, this is just dancing, this isn't real wrestling, what is this? And like, it's almost like how it's like people are criticizing Braun Strowman's treat for flippy shit. Yeah. And believe me, I want to preface this and make this clear. I am not here to defend Braun Strowman.
No, he was a douchebag for sure.
I am absolutely not here defending Braun Strowman. I'm just talking about this tweet specifically because he said a lot of dumb shit. This tweet specifically of him saying, oh, this flippy shit and this is dumb, whatever. First of all, it's in character for a giant. Sure. It makes sense.
Yep.
But so people criticize that, but now they're saying the same exact thing.
Right.
And my point is, it's professional wrestling. It's all dancing. My tweet was Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant was a dance.
Sure.
Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania was a dance. And it was a very emotional dance.
Different types of dances.
It's all choreographed and spot out. Just say, if you don't like Lucha Libre wrestling, just say that. Don't discredit 4 of the most talented wrestlers in the world because you don't like their style. Oh my God. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
It's dancing? Of course it's dancing. It's for theater kids. That's what professional wrestling is. Professional wrestling is theater kids who just went to the gym a lot more.
Pop off.
And like what are we talking about?
Pop off.
Slay.
Slay, King. Slay. No, I mean
that's...
Yeah, I mean, I watched the match. It happened, and I didn't bat an eye. I didn't even think anything.
The only thing I'll say is I don't love when, let's say they're setting up for something crazy, and Penta's on top of the top rope, and he's just staying there.
Yep.
And then let's say Matt Jackson's climbing up, and they're basically like just standing there, and they're holding each other, and they're, they are working together, and it is a very set up. And then, you can clearly tell at that point.
There are points in the match you can see them talking to each other. Like,
yeah.
All right, we're in
but like, at that point, I don't love it. Does take you, at least me, out of it a little bit. But that's like 2% of the match.
Yeah, that's
because I'm also aware to do these crazy extreme stuff, there has to be some setup and communication.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they practice beforehand.
Right.
Like, they have like they do all the stunts before. Like they choreograph. Like I get choreographed because that's what. Guys, can I say newsflash, wrestling isn't like real in that sense. It's like, yes, it's premeditated. You know what's going to happen beforehand. They go into the match knowing what they're going to do. That's how it's always been. So like, I don't know why people are making a big deal of it now. But like, I watched the match. They did it. Didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like this has been a talking point before. I remember Randy Orton at one point said something. I think he was kind of talking about that type of wrestling and being choreographed and like indie guys, whatever. I know.
Yeah. I remember
that. Indie guys. But it's like, again, like you said, like it's wrestling. It's just a different aspect of wrestling. Like the dance, like the Andre the Giant Hulk Hogan. That's a dance. It's a very slow dance, but it's a dance. This is very fast paced. You're moving on your feet. It's like tap dancing kind of. And it's like people like that shit. It's like just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not right or it's bad.
What's the real difference from Matt Jackson letting Penta set up for a Canadian Destroyer than Andre the Giant jumping a little bit to help Hulk Hogan pick him up?
Exactly. It's like
there's no difference.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's just like people looking for something to complain about, really. And again, like you're trying to discredit 3 of the most talented wrestlers. At least one of them is the best wrestler in the world in Kenny Omega. It's like you're trying to discredit all these guys, and it's just like I just don't understand.
At that point, you're trying to discredit 6 of the best
wrestlers in the world. It's just I don't understand. I think it's just people looking for something to complain about. I think that's all it comes down to.
I saw some people kind of backtracked on their tweets. I'm not here to name names or nothing, but a couple people backtracked and were just like, okay, I see the point.
I do think though, from like if you're, I think what other people are thinking too. So it's like it doesn't give a bad name or a bad rep. What I mean by this is like if you're someone that already doesn't take wrestling seriously and like you already don't think of it in a good manner, and you see that, of course they're going to be like, oh, this is fucking stupid. This shit. So like in that sense, it's not a good look for those people, but at the same time, fuck those people that don't think that thinks wrestling is stupid in the first place. Like that really shouldn't matter anyways. But that's the only like way I look at it where it could be a bad thing. But like that's just so minimal though. Like I don't give a fuck. Like you can do that shit all match. It's entertaining. Yeah. It's impressive that they have that shit memorized, written down so they can do it without like that. Like they don't miss a beat. Like that's impressive at the end of the day. It's just because certain wrestlers can't, like Braun Strowman can't do it. Don't get mad at other people that can do it. Like that's just so fucking stupid.
There was another point I saw. I don't know. If I think of it, I'll come back to it. But
great match. Great match. And guess what? There's gonna be. I'm assuming they're gonna go to 7.
This I'm nervous about. It's 7 matches.
They're gonna do 7 matches for sure.
Jesus
Christ. They are 1,000% doing 7 matches.
Me being the biggest Death Triangle fan and the Lucha Brothers fan, and I love the Elite and Kenny Omega, I'm nervous that 6 or 7 is gonna be a lot.
Okay, so do we want to predict what we think is gonna happen in the best of 7? What we
I'm
think?
hoping they throw in like match variations. I'm hoping one's maybe a steel cage.
Yeah,
I'm hoping one's
I agree with you. I think I would love to see it be like a 3-0 comeback or like a 3-1 comeback by one of the teams.
Oh,
I could see
that happening.
Here's the thing. So I do think the Elite's gonna eventually win the best of 7.
I think so too.
But I think this is an amazing opportunity to make Death Triangle look amazing. And I know Death Triangle won the first match, but I think if you let the Elite go,
are they counting this as the first match?
Yes, they did.
Are they?
It's 1-0.
Oh, really?
So I think if you let the Elite win 3 in a row and Death Triangle's down 3-1, bring it to the 7th match, I think you can make them look very strong. And
see, I thought you were going to go, I like that better than having the Elite down. Having Death Triangle down,
it makes Death Triangle look better. It makes them like each match,
that.
2 matches, 5 and 6 back against the wall. You bring out the best in them. Bangers. Match 7, they're that close, just an inch away, lose. I think they can look good in defeat that way.
Yep.
That's what I think should happen.
I think that, because there is still this story to be told of Pac cheating, and that's how they won, was getting slid that Ray Phoenix caught the hammer or whatever.
Sure. So then Ray Phoenix was very
he was still hesitant
about it.
I wouldn't be surprised if this best of 7 series breaks up. Not the Lucha Bros, but Death Triangle.
I can see that. Yeah,
and then
I can see
Pac goes on his way. He doesn't have the European Championship. That's right. But either way,
because like that right now, that's between Phoenix and Pac. Like he's not. Right. Well, it's just those 2.
Yeah.
So it's not the whole trio.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I will be honest. When I saw 7 matches, I was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah,
I was hesitant.
Could be a lot. But like, I mean,
I think they'll be great.
Cesaro and Sheamus did best of 7 before, and
that's true.
They put bangers.
That was great.
I do agree. They should do stipulations for different matches.
Yeah,
you need a freshen up every time. I think there's one tonight, Wednesday. They're wrestling, but I don't think there's a stipulation.
Oh right, today's Wednesday. Jesus.
Yeah, we're also posting this a little earlier than usual.
Yeah, I'm gonna
the holidays.
I'm definitely gonna.
We're gonna try to. Okay, next match.
Women's Championship match. Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter, new champ.
Well deserved.
Cool. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I was cool with it. I do think it kind of dragged on at the end. I think they made it a little too much with the kickouts. Personally, I think there was 1 or 2 close counts that they didn't have to include in there. I think they could have just the cheating thing at the end. She wins. Blah blah blah. That's it. I think they did a little too many close calls. Like Britt Baker and all them came in, did something. Jamie went to pitter. Tony kicked out. I'm like, that should have been the moment. You know, it's just I understand it builds the anticipation of when it's going to happen, but it's like that was the perfect moment. But regardless,
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
This is the point I was going to make with Death Triangle, and it kind of relates to this, where even with like the pinfalls like that, same idea. With the Elite and Death Triangle all doing the kip up, and maybe even to a point of Jamie Hayter doing all these kickouts, whatever.
Right.
One of the arguments I saw for all this, all the criticism was, well, it popped the live crowd. Sure. The live crowd went crazy for it, and those are the people. Well, granted, people are paying for the pay-per-views, but those are the people that are there and they're participating, and they're the ones paying for it.
You're going for the crowd reaction,
right?
Yeah, 1,000%.
And so the kip up of Death Triangle made the crowd go crazy.
And exactly.
So it works.
Yeah,
it works.
I think I kind of briefly said that, but it's like the crowd loved it.
Right.
So it's like that's what matters.
And it's even. I don't have a strong point with the Jamie Hayter thing, but it could also be argued
it's just a little thing. It's like it didn't take away from the match. It was just like, for me, it's like when she kicked out, I was like, damn, that would have been a dope moment for her to win it, type of thing. Sometimes they can overdo it, but not all the time.
The best, I mean, first of all, they tore the house down. I don't have much to say about it, so it was just a good match.
It was just a good match. Yeah,
they killed Jade and Nyla. They killed Saraya and Britt.
Yep.
Which I think was huge, because Jade, Saraya, and Britt, and I mean, I don't want to discredit Nyla, but she's not as big of a name. They're the three biggest names on the women names on the card,
for sure.
So for Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter to come out and tear it down and represent the AEW title,
that was the best women's match of the night by far.
100%. Not even close. So I think that was huge. I'm curious tonight what they're gonna do with it. I don't know if anything is happening tonight.
I think we're gonna see the Britt Jamie storyline start soon, where it's just like Britt's gonna get jealous, which makes sense. Which
makes sense, but also I'm curious how they're gonna do it, because Britt lost to Saraya,
right?
So it might be kind of maybe that, but like. And granted, which it's something we never talked about, well, because we didn't have a podcast for 2 months, but they took away they don't have the rankings anymore.
I thought the rankings were stupid, honestly.
Did you? I liked it.
I thought it was a cool thing to like keep track and stuff, but at the end of the day, they didn't really do too much with it. I feel like it was kind of like
they would kind of shift it to.
That's what I'm saying. Like you'd have someone that like FTR was like number 1 or number 2 for a while, and they never got a championship. Or like John Moxley just faces random dudes to defend the title every week. But it's like you have.
I guess I like the idea of it.
The idea of it's great. They didn't execute it well. If they executed it well, all for it. They didn't execute it well.
We'll get back to Full Gear, because we're talking about what they're gonna do tonight. AEW tonight we have Death Triangle versus the Elite in match 2. Ethan Page versus Ricky Starks, which is what we thought was unbelievably confused about. So confused. Which they, in our defense, they did change it, because they did put it on Dynamite last minute. So it's like they were gonna have it anyway.
Yeah, don't blame us.
And then we will show the incident between Jade Cargill and, which I think this is funny, rap star Bow Wow. Just in case you didn't know who he was.
He's a rap star. Yeah. So
they're not even. All they're gonna do is show the video.
Yep.
We got Chris Jericho versus I'm gonna butcher this, Tomorrow Ishii. That should be exciting. That seems like, unless Death Triangle and the Elite are the main event, that might be the main event. Orange Cassidy versus Jake Hager. We'll hear from William Regal. Should be a fine Dynamite. Yeah. I'm curious. I think obviously the Death Triangle and the Elite thing I'm most looking forward to. I'm curious with the William Regal thing. Which, speaking of, if you want to move on from the women's match, we got what everyone's been wanting to talk about. We're 29 minutes in. We can finally talk about it. Brother, tell me the news. Tell me what happened.
The devil finally got his due. Oh my God. When William Regal threw those brass knuckles in the ring, I fucking loved it. I think
he said, John, get the ref. John turns around. Slide.
John, no.
The knucks.
Why, you shouldn't have turned around, John. Bro, the storytelling, and I've been writing articles for ClutchPoints recently. Check those out on my Twitter, Dante on Deck. I recently wrote an article how MJF winning the AEW championship was best for business. The storytelling in this, and just the entirety of MJF's career, just coming out of AEW, and he has been the hottest one of the hottest topics in AEW. In professional wrestling, I think since AEW started. From day one, he was the first match on AEW. First match has always been there from day one. Then all of this shit, the story, whether it's story, real life, however you want to look at it, with Tony Khan going off on him, delivering one of the best promos of all time, leaving for months. No one even fucking knows where this guy is.
And no one knows what's real, what's not. There's so much.
The lines were so blurred, and that's what makes this so great. Comes back as the devil. Was supposed to do the thing with CM Punk, obviously. Moxley takes over. He comes in, and then they freshen up with him and Regal. Their promos, oh my God.
So here's what I love the most about that.
Go, please. Please.
He gets compared to everyone. MJF is always like, MJF is this generation's so-and-so. Whether it's The Miz, CM Punk. He gets compared to everyone. I think, and maybe I tend to just watch things without trying to predict what happens next. Like a lot of my friends will they're watching a movie, and they'll the whole time they're watching it, they're trying to figure out the ending.
Right. You're just trying to enjoy the ride.
I'm very much a person where I'm just watching it. So maybe this was a little more obvious to other people. I thought it was not a swerve, but I thought it was a total surprise that they went, no, MJF isn't our CM Punk. MJF isn't our MJF. I'm sorry. MJF isn't our CM Punk. MJF isn't our Miz. MJF is our William Regal. And I thought that was fucking, because it's the ring and the knuckles alone.
Yeah, very matching that up. Yep,
is so.
I think the ability to play heel and face, because William Regal was very good, had a good comedy aspect to him. See, I might get a lot of flack for this. I might get a lot of people.
I think I know what you're gonna say. I think I agree. Go ahead.
You think you?
Yeah.
All right. We'll see. I agree that he gets compared a lot. But he gets compared to some people for his mic skills, ring skills, and this and that. This is who I think he is most comparable to.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something different. Go ahead.
Oh. If I'm comparing MJF to anyone, I'm comparing him to The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
I'm comparing him to The Rock, bro. Mic skills. The Rock is probably one of the best professional wrestlers.
If MJF was everything that MJF is, but he looked like Ricky Starks,
so we compare Ricky Starks to The Rock, but it's like MJF, The Rock wasn't the most technically sound professional wrestler. The thing that made The Rock so good, and the thing that makes MJF so good, and this is why I see the comparisons, is the storytelling that goes into the match. MJF doesn't go into the match. He's not going to give you a 5-star match because of his moves or his technique, whatever. It's I
disagree. I think he's a
great wrestler. Yeah. No, I think he's a great wrestler, but I'm not saying that that's what makes the match so special. I just think it's during the match he goes to do a flip, just starts running around the rope.
So
just the little things he throws into the match. It's he's not the best in the ring, but he's best at using what he has, and he uses it as to the best that he can be. And I think The Rock wins his first championship at 26, world championship. MJF wins his first world championship at 26. The future, the potential. I don't think there's a ceiling on MJF, and I can go on. We can spend a whole podcast talking about this guy. I think him and Roman Reigns are the top, that's S tier right now. I think both those guys are untouchable. I think Roman Reigns is slightly ahead of MJF, but I think if AEW does this correctly, this title reign, I think this could be the most talked about story in wrestling for however long this lasts. I think he could either be on the same level or, it's crazy, but potentially eclipse Roman Reigns and popularity with this story.
Who do you think is his next feud? Well, I guess
they're doing this. Eddie
with
Kingston
Regal,
did a whole call out thing. I remember they're doing the Ricky Starks Ethan Page thing, right?
Oh yes, he's gonna end up facing
one of those. But I mean,
I guess in terms of the next I guess Regal obviously, but obviously he's not gonna fight Regal. So
maybe
you think
he's Danielson or something like that. Maybe
it might stay with, because that's another interesting thing I haven't seen too much talk about is Blackpool Combat Club. We got John Moxley lost. He's gonna be out for a while.
He'll probably be gone for a little bit.
Regal turned. I saw a video after where Yuta, Danielson, Claudio all came out to console Mox and whatever. So there's still a team, but now we're seeing, their leader is lost and is gone for a little bit. Sure. They have no titles.
Yep.
Yuta might still have something. I'm not sure.
I don't think
because he lost to Garcia. Yeah. And then their veteran William Regal out.
And William Regal was the one that really started it.
Yeah.
Because once he came in and put them together, bringing in all those guys.
Curious. I'm curious what they're going to do with that. I would love to see. I think they can do MJF and Danielson would be great.
They can do Combat Club versus MJF. Like, he can do matches against Danielson, Claudio, and I know Kim and Yuta had a thing going on for a little bit too. That's the thing, dude. It's like Wardlow. I think he'll get thrown in there at some point, revisit that rivalry.
True.
Chris Jericho. I mean, it's endless. That's what I'm saying. And I think with William Regal by his side, like, MJF doesn't necessarily need William Regal. Like, he doesn't need him to talk for him or anything like that. But having his presence there and just knowing the experience that Regal has and the power that he has, that's what's going to take him to the next level. He doesn't need him as far as a talking head, like William Regal was for like a Claudio, for example, right? He's just having him there, kind of like Heyman and Reigns. Like, Heyman talks for Reigns, but like, people aren't there for, like, it was different with Heyman and Brock. Heyman talked for Brock.
Right.
Roman can speak for himself, but having Heyman there just adds to it. It just makes it that much better knowing how great Heyman is. I think this duo is going to be something. If they do it the right way, this could be one of the best storylines that AEW has ever had.
See, that was one of my first things when I saw that. Instantly, I was like, MJF doesn't need Regal.
Yeah. But the idea of it's pretty fucking sweet.
It's pretty sweet. I think you're right. Regal does legitimize MJF and he brings him to another level.
Yep.
But I agree with you. I hope it's subtle. I hope it doesn't end up becoming, which I don't think it will. I hope it doesn't end up becoming the Regal show, or hope Regal doesn't talk to. And Regal is great on the mic.
Yeah, amazing.
If anything, I hope it's like a toxic student teacher thing.
Sure, yeah.
Where the Hulk is like, because that's how their little promo battle was. I hope it's more of that. Of just like
same relationship, but like he's on his side.
Exactly.
Now. Yeah, I get that. I mean, that would be fucking sweet. Just student teacher storyline. I mean, it makes sense.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
We mentioned his name. I think it's important to bring up. I know this is a very AEW heavy episode, but
we had a pay-per-view. I mean, next week's gonna be a Survivor Series.
It will be all Survivor Series.
You'll get both worlds.
I don't know, for those that haven't seen, being the Elite, depending on how casual or not of a viewer you are, the Elite does this YouTube series. That's why the guy is always filming.
Do you watch it consistently?
I don't.
No,
I don't think I've watched a couple episodes.
I've seen clips, but not full episodes.
I don't know. I probably should. I hear there's a lot of like Easter egg stuff and like cool cameos. I don't care enough. I don't know.
Anyways, let's talk about it.
Let's talk
about something we don't care about.
So basically, just this one clip that's been going around on Twitter is during the match, the Elite versus Death Triangle, there were "fuck CM Punk" chants. And they were very loud at the beginning of the match. And you can see, before the camera cuts away, the Bucks are really, like, they turn to the crowd and they're like, it seems like they're egging it on.
Yeah.
Or they're giving into it a little bit.
For sure.
And then
when you see the camera on you and they're doing that, people are going to keep cheering.
They were like turned around almost doing like the Shinsuke fucking, you know what I mean? Which, from just a fan, if you're a professional wrestling fan, you enjoy drama. As just a fan of that, I thought it was fun. I was like, this is juicy.
Yeah, I thought it was a funny little thing to do, because you can, I think that kind of confirms that, like.
So here's the controversy, though.
Okay.
These guys are executives of the company. So in the Being the Elite episode, with their own camera, they add that into their episode.
And they just mute everything else too. It's just
right. There was no music. They really made it a point, which, not skeptical. That's not the right word for it, but whatever. Some people are saying like, ooh, like either ooh, he might do a return now, or Tony Khan should fucking build. Because I agree. I mean, I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it. As a fan, I understand like, if they ended up bringing CM Punk back and did some sort of big explosion thing, that would be insane.
Sick. Right.
Obviously, it seems like business and relationship wise aren't really there. But the other point I was getting at, which is kind of the controversy, is these guys are executives in the company. They're part owners, I think, or whatever, and they're showcasing this fuck CM Punk and really promoting it. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
From a professional level, I get what people are saying, how it's like they should be professional, they shouldn't be immature about it. Just kind of like, it happened, move on, leave it at what it is.
Yeah. professional wrestling fan.
But professional wrestling fan, I think it's hilarious. And I think it's just like, listen, like if CM Punk truly was the guy that and again, it's hard to like talk about this and like defend someone when you don't really know the full details. Like, right, it's like we know some things, but it's like who truly started everything. If it was CM Punk, sure, like fuck it, like hey, yeah, fuck CM Punk if he did all that stuff. But it's like, you know, if it's just a childish thing, like you're just kind of throwing in there, like I do think Tony Khan should be like, hey, like, you know, like this happened, like let's just kind of move. If I was ahead of everything, I'd be like, just let it be. Like, yeah, everyone talks about it enough as it is. You're just kind of adding fuel to the fire,
especially if there really aren't any intentions of bringing them back.
And here's the thing, like by putting that in there, I think like this has to tell us that CM Punk was in the wrong, because if the story comes out, thinks about saying, hey, the Elite were actually the ones that started everything, they look like fucking tools for doing something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I think like for them doing this, it kind of solidifies that CM Punk was the guy that did everything. But again, I still can't confirm that. No one can. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's my thing. I don't care personally.
That's kind of where I'm at too.
But at the same time, from a professional level, I understand. Like their head of the company is like, yeah, you should act like professionals. But
I think we're on the same. It's like professional wise, like yeah, that probably wasn't the move. But like, I don't own any stock in the company. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
it was funny and it's professional wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. Wrestling's supposed to be fun, right?
Exactly.
Wrestling's supposed to be fun.
And I'm always a sucker for the cheeky real life, like right, you know, like sure. I'm always a sucker for that stuff. So who cares?
All right. Okay. So that's Full Gear.
That's Full Gear.
Okay.
We got a couple more things to talk about. We'll shift to WWE here.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, we have some Survivor Series stuff to talk about. Some things from Monday Night Raw, not a lot.
We're not going to go through the Survivor Series card here. We're going to have our predictions that we're filming later today.
Yep.
Happy Thanksgiving. Where do you want to start? We got. You want to start on Raw? We talk about who we think the fifth member of the women's WarGames.
Talk about the fifth member. So right now, the WarGames match we have is Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota, and Io Sky, Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley. Those five going up against Bianca Belair, Mia Yim, who they changed her name. I don't know if you saw that. It was like Meekim or
Mishin or something.
It like means
crazy in. I don't know what it's either Korean or Japanese.
And they changed that back to Mia Yim really quick because it got a lot of backlash.
Yeah, it was kind of racist.
I thought it just sounds stupid in the first place. But anyways, her, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and now they're asking who's going to be the final member. Now, we'll save this for the predictions video, but like we did talk about on the Full Gear's prediction, you said as a bonus point, like, will we see the return of a specific Sasha Banks? Could it be her? Could it be Charlotte? Could it be? I'm trying to think. Becky Lynch, maybe. Even though they said she might not return for a while, but they kind of say that already, so they can, go against that. Ooh. So I'm not going to lie to you. I'm looking through the replies right now for the tweet because I want to see what other people are thinking right now because it could be a lot of people. Tegan Knox. Do you remember Tegan Knox? You familiar with her?
Yeah,
she was in NXT for a little bit. She was in the women's tournament they did a few years ago.
Yeah, it could be an NXT
Her and Dakota Kai were best friends for a while. Tegan Knox did get released a while ago. It could be like I've been hearing rumors that Tegan Knox was going to return and actually be a part of Damage Control because her and Dakota Kai had a thing. Yeah. But also in NXT, Dakota Kai turned on Tegan Knox, so it could be like Tegan Knox returns to go up against Dakota Kai type of thing. Could be that.
This is one. Usually, whenever there's like a returning person or whatever, I feel like I don't want to speak for both of us, but I or we have a pretty good sense of like, all right, here's three people it could be.
Right.
For this one, I genuinely don't have a strong guess. I don't know.
That's why I'm like listing all these people right
Especially because like even just the type of match it is, I think it would be a weird place for Charlotte to return.
Right.
I don't think you want to. Right. I don't think you want to overshadow a Becky return.
Right.
Because it's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Right. But at the same time, they did want to make WarGames sweet because they did want to get that.
Those
clips.
I see some of the faces. Let's see.
I mean,
like who would fit on
You got big names in there, but it's the same. Like it's the first time WWE WarGames, so like you gotta get big names in there. I think, I mean, again, we'll save it for the predictions, but like, I think I have an idea of, I think it's, Becky Lynch sounds like it makes the most sense, because like when she left, that's when Damage Control debuted and stuff.
That, and then like 4 Horsemen feud with Bailey, and they can also revisit Bianca and Becky.
Right.
And almost like, hey, we're enemies, but I'm here to help.
Or it could be an NXT person, like we were
I'm honestly leaning on it being a kind of underwhelming NXT call up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at all these superstars. They all came from NXT, really. So Triple H could just kind of stick with that and just kind of have his NXT children in that match. I guess I'm gonna go with Becky Lynch. But this could be anyone.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll give my final thing for the. I genuinely, I kind of want to go Becky too. I'll think of someone else.
We'll think of someone. We're filming the predictions video, but I mean, we'll go over the reviews and stuff. People were saying that like WWE hasn't done a good job of like hyping up this event. Like it kind of feels like it's like, oh, it's Saturday. Like I feel like it's kind of like that. Like
you think so? I mean,
I don't really have a problem with it. I think they've been building up fine. Like the Bloodline storyline is fine. Like Kevin Owens came back, Drew McIntyre, Roman. That's great. The OC versus the Judgment Day. I mean, that makes sense. Ronda Rousey, Shotzi. That's fine. I mean, whatever. United States match. Like I feel like it's had a proper build up.
Maybe it's just because like,
I think there's not a lot of matches, but like the WarGame matches are going to be like 45 minutes, an hour, especially the men's one. Like that. There's so many storylines in that match alone. Like
I will say, I mean, obviously the biggest match is the Bloodline match. My problem with that is I'm excited for it. It's the match I'm most excited for.
Sammy and Kevin.
Sammy and Kevin.
That's gonna be great.
But I wish there was a real established faction for the other side.
I don't like the Brutes in this match. I think they've been doing amazing. I think they have been doing fucking amazing.
And they put the team together. It makes sense. Like it's the Brutes, and then they got Kevin Owens, and then Drew and Sheamus has the. Right. It all makes sense. I just wish it was. I just wish because like the Bloodline is so established, and they're a faction.
The Brutes aren't established as well. They're established, but they're not on that level.
But they're just a team. But I wish there was like another 4 or 5 factions.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Where it's like, we're also, I mean, even if it was like New Day and then 2 other people or something.
I remember there was like rumors, or like not rumors, but like people were saying like, oh, I hope it's like Bloodline versus like all of Roman's like past opponents. Like Kevin Owens and Drew actually would be in there already. Like a Rey Mysterio gets thrown in there. Like that type, if you went with that storyline.
Is Rey on the card?
No, he's not.
Fuck honestly, this pay-per-view.
Gunther isn't on the card either, the Intercontinental Champ. I was actually thinking he was going to be in this match originally, but like...
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So yeah, he's not on the card because they're not doing the whole champ thing anymore, and he's not unless they do something on SmackDown this Friday. They could add a match, but I haven't heard anything. So yeah, so he's left off the card, which I think is kind of.
And then not to jump around WarGames, but the triple threat.
Yeah,
Seth, Bobby,
Theory, Austin Theory. Yeah, I mean it makes sense. All 3 of them. I mean, they're all relevant to the title picture right now. Seth Rollins obviously being I think he's the babyface in this match. I think Bobby Lashley's a full blown heel now.
Yeah,
and Theory obviously is no one's gonna cheer for him. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I think that'll be a good match. I think all 3 guys you can make a legitimate reason. To pick them to win, and which we will get into.
I don't honestly have. I'm always down to watch a Seth match. I don't have a whole lot of investment. I'm glad he's on the card. I'm glad I get to watch pay-per-view Seth. Hope he doesn't lose.
I love Seth, but he needs to be in the world title picture. I need him, Roman.
Yeah,
so bad. So
he should
bad.
be.
He needs to be the one to beat him. I want him to be the one to beat Roman so bad.
He should have been on this other end of the WarGames match.
That's what like the whole older opponents, like he would have been thrown in there and stuff like that.
Like Butch and fucking
Butch
other
is
guy.
fine. I'm cool with Butch because he's been in WarGames matches before.
Yeah,
and if we see the whole Pete Dunne side of him,
but more so just story.
I get it.
What the fuck? They could have absolutely been replaced by a Seth Rollins.
I think the match will be fine, but I think the story could be better.
Yeah,
the story could be better.
That was my whole point about just like I get like the Bloodline side of the story, perfect, but they're really just like, all right, we just need some guys to face the Bloodline.
Yeah,
and,
Yeah.
I'm excited for Kevin Owens to be back though.
Yeah, I think that'll be dope. I mean, he's been in WarGames too. He was on the NXT WarGames a few years ago. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a good show. There's not a lot of matches, but I think, like we said, the WarGames match is going to be a while. So,
like I said, for our full predictions kind of breakdown, tune in When's the WarGames come out? Saturday
night. So when are
so
the predictions coming
Friday.
out?
We're gonna eventually start releasing videos on Saturdays, but all the pay-per-views have been on Saturdays. So my guess, if I have it how I want, podcast out tonight, Survivor Series predictions Friday, I guess. That's how we did it for
Full Gear, so yeah, it makes sense.
You want to talk Johnny Gargano?
Yeah, so another guy that isn't on the card is Johnny Gargano, and because right now, so Johnny Gargano returned. There was this whole thing like for a while. He was in NXT, lost, contract was up. Is he going to AEW, WWE? Triple H took over. Oh, he's come back to WWE now. Yeah. Eventually came back. Great, cool reception. And it's like then he got thrown with Theory, makes sense. Had a thing with NXT, and then all of a sudden he just kind of got thrown into this whole Dexter Miz storyline, which I think at first it was like, oh, like stalker guy trying to get the Miz. That's cool. Then it went on 2 months.
He got handed some pretty corny promo
lines too. Yeah, and then it drags on for 2 months, and you bring Johnny Gargano in that says it's all about payment, and like he's like doing all this investigative work, which is stupid.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, he comes out on Monday Night Raw to a new theme song.
I was just gonna say, how pissed are you?
Rebel Heart is fucking amazing. I'm not the only one.
I'm with you.
I am not the only one because people are pissed on social media. Not only that,
I have no idea why they changed it.
Omos comes out and just squashes the guy. What? Like, Omos is... Oh, okay. I understand Omos is this big guy.
I'm not a fan.
I hate him, bro. Like, he lost to Braun Strowman, and I thought that was supposed to be the match that Omos goes over because he's bigger than him. He loses to Braun Strowman, so he looks weak there. Mm-hmm. And then you put Johnny Gargano... What did Johnny Gargano do? I thought he... Trips. I thought he was your guy. You know what I mean? And you're having him in squash matches? Like, he's so much better than that.
I saw a tweet that was like... It was after he did, I forget what promo it was, but it was almost like a slideshow or some shit he did. Maybe it was the tech thing.
I think it was a Dexter thing because he was like showing it on. Like,
yeah.
It's so like,
there was a tweet that was like, thank God this corny dude didn't go to AEW. So people are seeing that, and I'm not saying Johnny Gargano is ruined, but now people are like, oh, good, because they're seeing his presentation in WWE, and they're turning on Gargano, and he's the baby face.
I know. He was a heel for a little bit, but he was like baby face.
I guess more. I mean, he was like the NXT prodigy son.
He's probably on the Mount Rushmore.
That's what I mean. That's what. Yeah.
Sure. It's frustrating because like with Triple H taking over, it was kind of like okay, like now we're gonna see guys like him kind of like be able to showcase like because he's a phenomenal wrestler. Mm-hmm. He's not like a big bulky guy like a Roman Reigns, but like he's a very good wrestler. Yeah. And for him to not be able to showcase that and kind of just get stuck with these storylines or squash matches, like listen, Triple H being in charge, like you have the idea of like a vision of what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be different than Vince McMahon, but like listen, Triple H, he hasn't been perfect either. I mean, he's fucked up. Like
especially
hopefully it leads to something.
I feel like we were on a good run for like maybe a month or two, and then now Raw is just the same. SmackDown, I think SmackDown's great. Yeah, I think SmackDown is I think it's mostly because of Roman and the Bloodline
and Bray Wyatt. I think adds.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
Too. And we can talk about that maybe a little bit too, but yeah, it's just like I hope maybe this leads to something, but it's like Johnny Gargano, like he shouldn't be in these positions. He should be in like genuine wrestling matches.
And especially if because the idea, at least how I always saw NXT call-ups was you call up these NXT people to the main roster, and you have to assume that most people that are watching Raw don't watch NXT
and don't know who that is,
right?
So unless you're like a very like into wrestling,
right?
Yeah.
So when you call up an NXT guy, when you call up a top NXT guy like Johnny Gargano, and you want to carry that same legacy, status, whatever, you gotta present
him that way
because one and like this Omos squash, now instantly people just joke.
Look what happened to Karrion Kross when he debuted the first time. He debuted in the Viking outfit and got lost to a roll-up by Jeff Hardy, who just came back to No More Words for the first time.
I mean, Dijakovic. Now back in NXT, getting a little bit of a restart.
Good for them to kind of like cross left, came back, they repackaged it. But like, it's like when you present someone badly from the start, it's crazy how people lose interest.
And it is very surprising that this came from Triple H.
Right, and again, like the thing is, and like you kind of have to look at it from this perspective. That's the downside of having so much talent on your roster. It's like to make someone look good, sometimes someone's got to look bad. And it's like, I understand Omos is supposed to be the big monster and stuff like that, but you just brought back Braun Strowman.
I'm so sick of Omos.
And I hate Omos isn't good. He's like the Great Khali of this generation, bro. Great Khali, like, you remember him because he was a big guy, but like, we were kids. If you actually look back and watch the matches, he sucked. He couldn't move. He couldn't move.
The one defense of the Great Khali, I will say, for like his first stint, he was scary.
Character was great
because when he squished Ray's head, bro, at least he had. Oh my god!
Shit, dude,
but at least he had scary stuff like that, right, where he was. But like, which I agree with you. Omos is definitely the Great Khali of this generation, but the difference is Omos doesn't even have that. There's not even like any sort of like
that.
Right. There's no sort of scary factor. There's no sort of like, oh no, it's just like he
was the when Raw did Raw Underground for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He was the bodyguard for blocking the door to go in. You know, and it's just like he goes from that like. No presentation. It's very boring. But Johnny Gargano, I really hope there's a plan for him, or this was like a one-time thing, and he goes back to. I don't know.
I guess we'll see if he's even on TV next week.
So we have 4 minutes. We've been going 55 minutes. We don't want this to drag on too long. I do want to talk about Bray Wyatt really quickly, if you don't mind. Okay, please. So the whole Bray Wyatt thing, I'm very interested in this. I've always loved Bray Wyatt. So when he came back, people were debating, he was doing Wyatt 6. They had the whole like. When he came back, they were showing like people dressed up as like the puppets and stuff like that. And people were like, oh, are there going to be actual wrestlers that like going to be in this faction? Or is it going to be like just his personalities? LA Knight is getting a little involved with Bray Wyatt now. He was doing the interview last week. The thing came up in the background. Bray Wyatt hit him. This week, LA Knight gets his revenge. Bray Wyatt goes crazy. And then you see Uncle Howdy on the screen back there. I don't know if you saw this backstage segment. It was Karrion Kross and the Usos. In the background, you see Bray Wyatt like screaming at no one, literally just talking to himself.
I started seeing that on Twitter.
So that's why I like about. So that's why I like about like this whole thing is that they're like throwing him just like in random. And this happened like in other shows. He's just like in the background, just subtly. Later in the night, LA Knight toppled shit like thrown on top of him. People are saying he's a rambling rabbit.
That LA Knight's Rambling Rabbit?
Yeah, so it was like Rambling Rabbit, Huskus the Pig, Abby the Witch.
Holy people shit, are saying how do you remember these?
That's nuts. So people are saying Karrion Kross is going to be one of them, like I forget which one they were, like the Crow or something like that, and Scarlet is going to be Abby the Witch. So and that's why they were in that specific thing. So they're saying LA Knight's going to be Rambling Rabbit, and if they're starting to like build up the superstars to like fill in the thing, that's pretty cool. I don't know how it's gonna go, like kind of because you're going from LA Knight to Rambling Rabbit, like that's a big change. I don't know.
And he just became LA Knight.
He just went back to LA Knight too. So I don't know. Maybe that's not the direction. Maybe it's just a whole like this is his first feud thing. But I think it's kind of I like this whole thing because it's like. I'm very excited to see what happens next week. Like,
my thing is they're finally doing something.
They're doing something, right? Finally. Right. Yeah, exactly. Like the thing with Bray Wyatt, and I think one of the things that was. Over the years kind of hurt him was things would drag on.
Yeah. And a lot of the promos I'm all for a slow burn.
Right, me too. Because it makes sense. If it makes sense, it leads to something.
It's like, brother, like how many times can we hear just
exactly?
It's good to be back. I didn't
This
think
is me.
You would.
This is the real me.
Yeah, like
Bray Wyatt.
I get
it. But yeah, they're starting to do stuff now. But like this story is kind of similar to what we talked about Bloodline and Sammy. I'm watching SmackDown because I very much want to see what they do next. So I'm very interested. They got me roped in there. Good job.
And what does Raw have? What are we watching Raw for? Literally, what does Raw have?
Why is it still 3 hours? It should be 2. It really should be 2. I don't want to stay up till 11 to watch it. But okay, that's what I have to say about Bray. If you want to say anything about it, please. But big fan of the story.
That's basically my 2 cents. Is really just I'm in for it. I've always loved the stories. I'm just excited they're doing something, and let's progress this story.
Yeah, like,
let's see something happen.
I can't wait for Uncle Howdy to be revealed as Bo Dallas or something like that. That's gonna be fucking sick. But yeah, slow burn. I think they're doing a good job so far.
Well, I think that's a good place to end it. Like I said, we're going to have the predictions. We have the Roman Reigns, acknowledge the Roman Reigns quiz out now. You can check that out. WarGames predictions Friday, another quiz next week. I want to say Tuesday. We're figuring out our schedule.
Submit your quizzes, scwquiz@gmail.com as well.
Yep. I haven't even checked. I'm scared.
We're racking those up. Like we said, we lost a lot of those before.
That's my email.
That's his email. But yeah, after the first video, you guys sent in a good amount. We're at 70. Okay.
Whoa.
70, beautiful. And you guys know us. Well, we're gonna get to as many of these as we can.
I see some familiar names in here. Shout out Jared Myers.
Let's go,
guys. Jared. I don't know if you want to say your last name.
We can bleep that out.
We'll blur out his last name.
But yeah, thank you. Send those quizzes to us. Like I said, we rack them up. We'll get to them eventually. Appreciate you guys, like always, for the constant support, listening to the podcast, supporting our YouTube channel, TikTok, whatever. I mean, our personal socials and stuff like that.
Speaking of, if you want to keep up with us, you can follow me at Raspy Taylor on Twitter and Instagram, and also my YouTube channel at Raspy Taylor. I got videos up on there.
You can follow me, Dante on Deck, on Twitter, Dante Toro or Dante Toro 11 everywhere else.
I'm good if you're good.
I'm good if I'm good.
See you in the next one. Everyone, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please turn on the bell for notifications. Where we haven't been saying that. We're getting back in. We're getting back into it.
Yeah, tell your friends, tell your family. Hey, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. No one wants to talk politics at the Thanksgiving dinner. Talk about SCW. Tell them to subscribe, subscribe, get back to our channel.
Happy Thanksgiving. Fuck Christopher Columbus. That'll do it. Bye-bye. Was he a pilgrim? I don't know. All right, bye.